I was very, very happy to see my first son born. At that particular night when we went to sleep, he was kept in the middle between me and my wife. I suddenly found some rain, rain like thing, and I asked Chanda, बारिश आ रही क्या? दरवाजा बंद करो. She said, बारिश कहाँ आ रही है? I said, नहीं, ऐसे लगा मेरे को बारिश. नहीं नहीं नहीं, ठहरो ठहरो. And she opened the light and she showed me that he had pissed and his piss had gone on the wall. It seems that he had a problem when he was born. He had a problem for passing urine, and the doctors had just small surgery, and they had already done that, but it was it was healing, but his piss was very it was so strong and so this thing that it went on the opposite side of the wall. This is the first memory of my son. I'm sure he will be angry, but it is true.
I thought he was the cutest baby I'd ever seen, and apparently other people thought so too, because he started getting all these modeling offers. My grandfather and my uncles, our grandfather and our uncles had this big advertising agency, and they were always making advertising films, and my dad too was always producing advertising films, and they were always looking for models. And now they had this ready-made, cute, beautiful little model in the family. So Sanjay became a model or an actor. He modeled for Ferradol, he modeled for Modella. His face used to be in all the magazines. There was no television at that time, and newspapers, in the movie theaters, and it used to be such an exciting thing to see his face, and we used to all get so happy and thrilled about it.
My first memory of Sanjay, I was 18, and so that's almost 29 years ago now. Oh, sorry, I revealed my age, but anyway, I was 18 and I had just entered my engineering college, and we had a group of friends, some from Delhi, some from Bombay, and Sanjay was this tall, lanky, handsome guy, who was in his last year of college in the engineering college, and he had actually convinced one of my friends in my group to introduce me to him, So I think my first memory is when my friend kind of approached us, brought him over and approached us and introduced us, And he was kind of this shy person, but still bold, and he wanted to talk to me, and then he had a few questions for me, and I was clearly not interested. I was just 18, I was just having fun, and I just wanted to get on with college and doing other things. So I didn't think much about him, but that is my first memory of him.
My parents moved here when 20 years ago, kind of right before I was born, over 20 years ago, and they had never really experienced this type of weather. And everyone knows the weather here. It's really cold in the summer. It gets to be really stormy, quite frequently. So one day, I must have been maybe 4 or 5 years old. The basement wasn't done yet, so it was completely unfurnished, and there was a storm rolling around. And if you guys know my dad, whether it be a raindrop or a thunderstorm or a tornado, he takes the same action every single time. Everyone get into the basement right now. We would all go down to the basement. Mind you, there was no tornado warning. He had all his alarms set up for the tornado warning. It was just a severe thunderstorm or just a mild thunderstorm, maybe 30 miles away. We would all rush to the basement, go under the stairs, take a blanket, sit there for 3 hours. 3 hours! And it was crazy. It was so long, but it was the funniest thing I remember about him, even though I was only maybe 4 or 5 years old. I can remember it very clearly because it didn't happen once, but it happened twice, and it happened 3 times, more than 3 times actually. So those are probably the earliest memories I remember of him.
I would say that he is one of the most finest person I have in my family. Not because he is my son, but he is really an honest person, sincere, and also a self-made person. He has, whatever he is today he has done on his own, and with his own hard work he has reached this peak as one of the best computer person in USA. But what I feel is that he has a lot of love for everyone. He is short-tempered. Sometimes he gets angry, but his anger is just short-lived. Immediately he forgets and comes back and makes you happy, so that you forget what he has said earlier. He is very sincere, very loving, and ever ready to help people around him, and that includes me and my wife Chanda. And I think it's rare to have a person like him.
This is going to be a long explanation to a very short answer because my dad has a variety of different colors kind of mixed in that big afro head of his. The first one would definitely be Goofy. He is the funniest person you'll ever meet. He's like a big teddy bear. One time, actually many times when we were younger, both my sister and I, he would come in like Bunny on Me would with a big mask on and everything and dress up. He would comb his hair back to look all messy, and he would come in quietly behind the door after like maybe 11 p.m. at night, come into our rooms, crawl on the floor and jump up and scare us. And it was really funny. At the time it wasn't. We were both scared out of our minds, but just looking back on it, it was probably one of the funniest things.
Loud, really, really, really loud. Literally every chance he gets, he's really loud. He's never quiet. You ask him to be quiet, he just tells you to be quiet.
The one word that comes to my mind when I think about Sanjay is big. And I don't mean big in size because he's not, but I mean he has a big voice. He has a big laughter. He has a big heart. He has, big aspirations for life. He enjoys life to the fullest. He's very philosophical, so he thinks a lot as well, and thinks about different things, thinks about life. He's very organized. He likes to plan things. So. So that's the one word that I can think of, that in every way, it's big. So.
When I watch him in conversation with other people, it's really funny because he'll sit there and he'll look straight at you. He'll make the most wonderful eye contact with you, sit there for 10 minutes nodding his head like it's rehearsed. At the end of the conversation, he will probably know 0% of what you guys just talked about. It's so funny. He puts on a grand show about listening to exactly what you're saying and doesn't know what you're saying at all, which I think I get that from him actually sometimes.
He's always late. Literally every time we go to a party, everyone's like, oh, the Dutts are late. And then, and we always blame it on Dad because he's always in the bathroom. He's either talking to himself or he's on his phone and he's trying to memorize a meeting in his head, and he just talks to himself the whole time. So, I mean, he's kind of weird like that.
He's always been a little shy and very, very modest and embarrassed by compliments he gets. Even now, I feel a very humble person, but lovable. And I, amongst all our relatives and our friends that I know, I don't think anybody has anything but good to say about him. And he's managed to keep in touch with everybody. When he visits India, he visits each and every person. He spreads love wherever he goes. All our relatives, they just adore him. And well, we adore him too.
I remember once we went to Switzerland, and my Saab would be writing a story, and we both would run and sit on a mountain and just think what will be next Sanjay for his future, how it will be. We just keep on thinking and talking about it. And that was really great memory, to be with him and enjoy life.
I still remember my mother and myself and Sanju. We went into a big store. My mother needed to do some shopping. And while she was looking at what she wanted to buy, he noticed a toy that he wanted. And he started clamoring for the toy, and he said to my mom, I want to have that, I want to have that. And my mom said, no, you can't have that just now. And to our shock and embarrassment, he just lay down on the shop floor and he started crying and hitting his hands and feet all over the place. And no, I want to have it, I want to have it, I will have it. And because he used to be unwell and sickly, you know, he was very used to sometimes being given whatever he wanted. But this time my mother was firm, so that I think she realized that if she gave in to him this time, this would keep happening. It would become a habit with little Sanju.
At one of these vacations, it was the family, me and Ria and mom and dad, and we were sitting down at one of the restaurants, and there was a stage up in front of us. And so there was an MC, and there was kind of a show going on. There were people dancing. They had, like, you know, funny comedians up on stage and a magician. And during the show, at one point, they asked for volunteers to come up. So we pushed my dad to go up. We're like, come on, just go up to the stage. So, you know, not knowing what he was getting into, he was like, reluctantly, okay, I'll go up. So we got him to go up, and there was a line of men. They were only taking, you know, older men. So they're all in line. And they told him to get up on stage, and they told him to do some funny dance moves in the beginning, like, oh, put your hands up and twirl around kind of a thing, or, you know, jump up and down and do 10 jumping jacks. And then it got really funny when they're like, all right, men, take off your shirts. So Sanjay, dad, was standing up on the stage looking around, trying to look for an escape route, but couldn't. He was right plopped in the middle. All these big husky men came up, started taking off their shirts, and before you know it, dad took off his shirt in front of everyone.
We went to Mexico, and then the people on the stage, so there was like this stage, like this show, and they asked all the men to come up the stage and do something. They don't know though, they wouldn't know. So they told them to come up, but then they told them to take all of their shirts off, and it was the most embarrassing thing because there was a lady on the stage, and the men were supposed to dance for the lady, and my dad did the most embarrassing dance. He didn't even dance. He just went around her and just started shaking himself, and then he just walked off the stage, and it was so embarrassing, and the people wouldn't give back the men's shirt, so my dad was just sitting there, and my sister and my mom and I were really awkward, just looking all over the place.
So one thing that I gotta give Sanjay credit for is Michael Jackson. If it wasn't for him, I don't know when I would have been introduced to Michael Jackson in terms of his music. I remember I must have been 4 or 5 years old when we were living in Poland, and there was a Michael Jackson cassette. We had cassettes at that time, sitting in my parents' room. And my mom had bought it for Sanjay Mama for I think his birthday. He had wanted it, and he was living in India at that time, and it wasn't available. And it was Michael Jackson's Dangerous album, which had just released, I think, around that time. This was early 90s. And I remember looking at it and wondering what it was, so I played it, and I loved it instantly right away. I was like, wow, this is great music. And I was really young at that time, and I still remember though. And I loved listening to it so much, and that's how I got introduced to Michael Jackson. And I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. And so to this day, I credit Sanjay Mama with introducing me to Michael Jackson's music, just because if it wasn't for him wanting that cassette, my mom would have never bought it for him, and it would have been lying there on her desk. I think he got a hold of the album later in India, and so we just ended up keeping it. That's why it was still there at home. So definitely have him to thank for that.
फिर मैं आपको पापा बुला सकूंगा? तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी हैरान.
So I know that Sanjay Mama had a lot of exposure to celebrities while he was growing up, and so did my mom, because my grandfather was into films. And so he's been, he's met Nasruddin Shah and Shashi Kapoor and Govinda and a bunch of different actors and actresses. And of course, we can't forget the Master Blaster.
A miracle now to prevent them from going through, and they need 48.
Sachin Tendulkar.
4 balls to win the game. That's not out of the question either. Oh, he's high. It's high. It's all the way. It's way over the top into the crowds again. Sachin Tendulkar wants to win this match.
My grandfather was doing a audio for Sai Baba and Ganesh, something related to Sai Baba and Ganesh ji, and there was a program that was a function that had been organized for the launch of that audio cassette, and Lata Mangeshkar and Asha Bhosle had been invited for that specific event, and Sachin Tendulkar had also been invited, I think, to be honored, and so that's where my uncle got to meet him. So he's pretty lucky to have met one of the best cricket players in the world.
Sanju beta, you are now going to be 50th from today, and I am very proud that you have touched this landmark with lot of difficulties and hard work. What I don't have to advise you, but the thing I would not like to advise you anything. What I want is that you remain as what you are today. See that you look after your wife Shilpa, Pooja and Riya, and see that they are always look at you as the best person. And for us, you are God's gift. That's why I don't want to advise you, but continue what you are doing today, and for even till the last moment of your life. That's all. And I'll give you my age. See that you cross 75 also.
Sanjay, I'm so happy to be here with you on your 50th birthday, and I want you to be the same as you are, a very, very honest person, a very brave and hard-working man. May God give you all the happiness, more good health and wealth. And we are both very, very proud of you. Sanjay, we love you a lot, as you love us. So take care.
On his 50th birthday, I'd like to say to Sanju, it's been a wonderful 50 years. Don't know where they went. I can't believe that you're 50, because touch wood, you don't look a day over 25. And what I gifted him were 50 birthday wishes. So I'd just like to say to him, when I told him that, Sanjay, you've got 50 birthday wishes. He said, Didi, I don't need wishes. I've got everything I want. I have a wonderful, beautiful, loving wife. I have two gorgeous daughters, all of whom dote on me, and lovely parents, and sister, and everything. He's happy and satisfied, but he's got 50 wishes, and I know with his humble and modest and satisfied frame of mind, he will not want 51. So I would just like to say to him, may God give you a long, happy, healthy life, and keep you smiling always, and always surrounded by the people you love, your wonderful family and friends, and continue to do what you're doing, and contribute to society the way you always wanted to and have been doing. And may God bless you, and thank you for being a wonderful brother. And if I have to live lives again and again, I'd always want you to be my brother, Sanju. God bless you. You're the best.
So I would say, first of all, he's reached 50. He's achieved so much in life. He's had a great life. We're lucky to have him in our life, and he's an amazing person. He doesn't look 50. So first of all, my advice would be, don't think about the number. It doesn't matter. I think you are 20 at heart, and think about that number. Think about how you feel, not about the number that you've reached, the milestone number. And going forward, my advice would be that now that you've reached 50, and yes, it's a milestone number, but I would say that people say that every day needs to be led like it's the last day. I would say lead every day like it's your first day. With the same curiosity of a child, the same excitement and the fun-filled factor. Think about all the things you want to do and just do them. Don't think about it. Just go ahead and do it. Lead it like it's the first day of your life.
Well, first I want to sing a short song. Ready? Okay. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. And that was the short song. So, what I would like to say to you on your birthday? That's a good question. Well, let's start with happy birthday. You are 50 years old. You old man. I can't believe it. That means you have gone through 50 years, half a decade of life, which is very astounding. I hope that I live to be 50 and look as great as you, because that haircut, looking good, Dad. I'm talking to you, looking good. Also, I would like to say that I think the way that you've lived your life for these past 50 years is phenomenal. You literally have left nothing to chance, and you've had so much fun. You've gone out, you've experienced life. You haven't just, sat and saved your life savings, and you don't have that mindset of, oh, I'm gonna retire and then have fun. It looks like you've had fun for your entire life, and all the values that you've taught me, of family and friends, and your work life, all that balance. I think that that will stick with me forever, and I hope you have a great birthday. Obviously you will, because I will be there, but jokes aside, I hope you have a great birthday. I'm really glad the family is here. I'm really glad all our friends are here, and I hope you're really surprised, because this took a long time to set up. Yeah, have a great day, eat lots of good food, and drink lots of beer. Love you.
I hope you have a wonderful 50th birthday, and I hope you don't eat too much cake. But anyways, have a wonderful time, and yeah, happy 50th.
Sanju, wish you a really happy birthday. It's your 50th birthday, so happy 50th birthday to you. We love you, and we're really, really grateful for all the special moments and memories you've given us and everything you've done for the family. Have a wonderful life ahead, and don't ever lose that fun, loving, childlike spirit that you have, because that's what makes you who you are, and we love that about you. So happy birthday and have a wonderful day.